Hello and welcome to another edition of Inside Roraima, the first one for the month of August 2019. Inside Roraima is where we tell you everything that's happening within the Roraima group of companies. To our viewers out there, I want to say a belated happy emancipation to you guys. I hope that you enjoyed this special day. I did. I was out there celebrating, and I hope you did too. We've got some interesting conversation happening this month, and we hope that you stay tuned for the next 30 minutes or so as we take you inside Roraima. Roraima Airways has begun to ramp up its operations at the Chedijagan International Airport at Tamari to cater for the increased number of flights to be introduced by American Airlines later this year, says Roraima CEO Captain Jerry Gavaya. American Airlines now has daily flights from Guyana to Miami and will introduce daily flights from New York in time for the Christmas holiday.
The expansion of our operations continue. American Airlines is now gearing up to start selling their tickets for the New York operation 7 days a week out to JFK. And of course we ourselves have to ramp up to meet the demands of that operation. That means we have to ramp up our staff, we have to ramp up our ground handling equipment. And so over the last 2 months we have been adding a host of new equipment to our operations and inventory at the airport. So American Airlines is now doing 7 days a week from Miami, and now they're going to be doing 7 days a week from New York. Which is good news because it means more jobs for Guyanese at the airport, it means more revenues for the airport, and so on. And so our own operations have been ramping up. We have also just imported a new building, a structure to put our ground handling equipment in so our maintenance could meet international standards. Because we all talk about local content and we all talk about providing services to the national businesses, but we have to ramp up our services and our standards to meet international standards by these companies. So we've just imported this building. We are now working with the airport authority to have the land to put the building on so that these equipment could be out of the weather and that the maintenance could be done to international standards. Which is all very, very good news. It means that a lot more of our staff will be trained by American Airlines to meet their standards. So we're going to be seeing a lot of training happening.
Captain Gavaya also spoke about the services being offered between Guyana and Cuba by Aruba Air.
We continue to do the flights out of Cuba with Aruba. This has been good news for Guyana because the Cubans are coming. The Cubans are welcome to Guyana. I think the government have really been working with us to make this happen. And I think it's a good news. We are facing some challenges, of course, with some of the Cubans now finding Suriname a little more attractive than Guyana. And so we were doing 11 flights a week. We went down to 7 and now we're down to 6. But we have to, as Guyanese and as a company and as the airport authority and we have to continue to make Guyana a welcoming place for the Cuban shoppers to come to Guyana. The good news is that the American government is still sending the Cubans using a lot of our flights to come to Guyana to get their immigrant visas and so on.
More of this interview with Captain Gavaya after the break. Stay tuned.
Arrow Point Nature Resort, nestled in the Santa Mission Amerindian Reservation, is an ideal getaway for nature and adventure enthusiasts. You can stay overnight or just for the day and participate in a range of fun-filled activities. In the day, you can go mountain biking, kayaking, pedal boating, and bird watching. At night, relax and enjoy a bonfire dinner or take an expedition into the rainforest. The resort is also perfect for events such as company retreats, fun days, and weddings. Arrow Point Nature Resort, the Back to Nature Resort.
International Travel Agency is an approved IATA agency that caters for every traveler, including the backpackers to the luxury travelers. We try to accommodate your budget for each package, and of course, we make our customers very comfortable. Rest assured you will receive the best customer service, commitment, honesty, and trust from us as we access the world for you. Call us at telephone number 225-9648 or visit us at R8 King Avenue, Bel Park, Georgetown.
Captain Gavaya also spoke of other developments that are taking place within the company.
And so our operations at the international airport continue to move forward. We are still, unfortunately, in a temporary space for our executive lounge. The airport is still to identify adequate space so that the new executive and first class lounge could be positioned in the airport. The airport is very, very beautiful right now. And what we really need to do is to be able to settle in and move our executive lounge into an appropriate space that will provide a service at the international level for an airport like ours. It's modern, it's beautiful, it's clean, and now we need to meet that standard. Even our own planes now at Ogle, our operation continues. We are working close to the Ministry of Health in terms of bringing medical relief to our people across the hinterland day and night. Our planes are being dispatched in the middle of the night to go and bring back sick people, and so I want to say, as part of the Ministry of Health commitment to providing services to the citizens, we are committed to working in genuine partnership with the Ministry of Health to do this, and we have been doing it very effectively. You know, Roraima planes, we operate the Trilanders. We operate the 3-engine Trilanders, which is an amazing aircraft. It takes 16 passengers, it takes approximately 3,000 pounds, and it goes into very short runways. So we have been supplying and supporting the mining industry. Particularly the tourism industry. We've been doing an amazing service, taking Guyanese and visitors to see the magnificent Kaicho Falls, and we combine that tour with our Arrow Point resort. So we fly people from the city to Kaicho Falls in the morning, leaving at 8 o'clock. We get there at 9 o'clock. We spend 2 hours in the room touring the falls. We bring them back to the international airport and then transfer them to the boat, and then they go into Arrow Point and have a wonderful day, and then they get back in the afternoon. So we have been doing a lot of work with our planes and our boats in helping to enhance the Guyana tourism product. So people have been going to Kaicho Falls in droves. They've been going to Arrow Point Nature Resort, where we go mountain biking, we go kayaking. They visit in the village of Santa Mission. And for me, it's a real joy to see people enjoy themselves and enjoy Guyana. And so as a company, we like to say that we are really committed to bringing the smiles and faces of people visiting Guyana.
The need to lengthen the airstrip at Kaichur is also a development to which Roraima Airways is advocating.
Well, we have actually written the Ministry of Public Infrastructure. The Kaichur runway could be extended very, very easily 500-600 feet, which would make a tremendous amount of improvement in safety. Unfortunately, we wrote the ministry, we haven't had a reply from them because we have actually offered to partner with them. So we will fly in the engineers to do the assessment of the runway because the runway is on a plateau, a mountain, and all we have to do is to level some of the rocks and it will improve safety tremendously at Kaicho Falls. Unfortunately, maybe the bureaucracy in the ministry is taking a little long, but I really believe it's too long now. It's over a year and a half. But we need to get more response quickly from the ministry on matters like this, because here's the case where the private sector is actually offered to help and to partner with the ministry. And I think their systems is taking it long to be responsive.
Whatever you're doing this evening, we hope you're enjoying the show so far. Remember to stay tuned, and if you want to follow us on social media, head over to our Facebook pages. That's the Roraima Group of Companies, Arrow Point Nature Resort, Roraima Airways, or the Roraima Duke Lodge. Stay tuned, we'll be back.
Arrow Point Nature Resort, nestled in the Santa Mission Amerindian Reservation, is an ideal getaway for nature and adventure enthusiasts. You can stay overnight or just for the day and participate in a range of fun-filled activities. In the day, you can go mountain biking, kayaking, pedal boating, and bird watching. At night, relax and enjoy a bonfire dinner or take an expedition into the rainforest. The resort is also perfect for events such as company retreats, fun days, and weddings. Arrow Point Nature Resort, the Back to Nature Resort.
The internationally acclaimed African comedy series featuring Emanuela and Success is currently in Guyana to perform around the country. Apart from being accommodated at the Roraima Residence Inn in Bel Air Park, the cast of the popular series have been hosted by the Roraima Group of Companies to visit its Arrow Point Nature Resort, as well as an aerial tour of the capital city, Georgetown. Both Emanuela and Success were eager to speak of their visit to Arrowpoint and experience of flying over Georgetown in the Roraima Airways Britain-Norman Trilander aircraft.
Well, if you don't know who's in Guyana right now performing, then you must be living on another planet. It's Emanuela and Success.
Good evening.
Good evening.
All right. Now, how are you enjoying Guyana?
Guyana is fun. I love the people here. They are so friendly.
All right. And what about you?
Guyana is beautiful.
It's beautiful. All right. I know that we at Roraima Airways, we've been kind of hosting you to a few at a few of our facilities. First, you went to Ogle airline operation, right?
Yes.
And you saw the Trilander and the Islanders and you saw the various planes. And what did you all do there?
We fly around the city.
Oh, okay, they took you on a flight. So you, I mean, I know you came here in a big airplane, but this is a bit of a small airplane. Were you scared?
No.
Not scared? Okay. What about you? And how was the pilot? Good?
Yes.
Good, good.
Yes.
All right. And so, did you get a chance to sit in the seat, pilot seat, in the airplane? When it was on the ground, of course, not when it's in the air.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So you sat in the pilot seat and so on. You too? You sat in the pilot seat and, held the steerings and so on? All right. Now, then you went to the jungle.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about the jungle.
It's fun. We rode bicycle. We went for hunting.
Yes.
Did you swim?
No.
No swimming? What about kayaking? Did you go in the boat?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
You like that?
Yes. So much fun.
Plenty fun, huh? So, you're looking forward to performing in Guyana?
Yes.
Tell the people who are going to be watching this program what they can expect.
Expect laughter and joy.
And expect laugh and fun.
Yes.
All right. And how long are you going to be in Guyana?
5 days.
5 days. All right. All right. So you went to you had a flight over the city. You went to Arrow Point. That's the name of the place in the jungle that you went to. You got there in a boat. How was the boat ride?
Awesome.
Awesome. All right. And what about you? What you liked about the jungle?
I love the jungle because it's big and fun.
A lot of fun.
Yes.
Okay. You'd like to go back? All right. All right. So, what do you want to tell the kids in Guyana?
No matter what you're going through, keep smiling. It's good for your health.
Yes, and follow your dream.
Yes.
All right. Well, we can end on a better message. You said follow your dreams, and you said
Whatever you are doing, keep smiling.
keep smiling. All right. Thank you, and I'm sure that Guyanese are looking forward to coming out and watching your shows wherever you're performing in Georgetown at the Cultural Center in Berbice as well.
Yes, yes.
Okay. And today you went to where? Linden?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. How was Linden?
It's good and the place there is nice. And the people are also kind.
All right. All right. Well, again, thank you so very much.
That was Emanuela and Success speaking with Roraima's Director of External Relations, Wesley Curtin. We hope you enjoyed that little conversation there with the little entertainer all the way from Nigeria. She came to do a very special Emancipation Day show here in Guyana. Stay tuned, we'll be back after the break. Roraima Airways Chief Executive Officer Captain Jerry Govaya was recently elected the new chairman of the Private Sector Commission, PSC. The PSC has been showing a keen interest in the electoral process, and in this interview with our External Relations Director, Wesley Curtin, Captain Govaya explains why there is this keen interest.
I'm with Captain Govaya, the current chairman of the Private Sector Commission of Guyana. And in recent weeks, the Private Sector Commission has been commenting on a lot of developments taking place in Guyana with respect to the no confidence motion, the rulings of the Caribbean Court of Justice, and the work of the Guyana Elections Commission. Captain Govaya, as chairman of the PSC, why is the PSC so interested in what is happening in terms of the electoral process?
I would have wanted to believe that it is a logical understanding by everybody, and so the fact that we need to explain it is actually quite puzzling to me, because people should understand that the development of businesses, the operation of businesses need to operate in a stable environment, one where there's political stability, one where there's a respect for the rule of law, and the private sector have always contributed towards those discussions, towards those developments in our country, because it is vitally important for us to, as we work to enhance and foster investor confidence, that we continuously have to engage with all stakeholders, whether we're talking with the City Council, whether we're talking with the police, whether we're talking with national security at the level of the army, whether we're talking about public infrastructure. So the private sector have always been very involved. And Wesley, to understand the Private Sector Commission and how it is constituted, is to understand that as Guyana started to change under the Desmond Hoyt presidency, when the private sector was being revitalized and reborn, a lot of the private sector organizations started to be come back alive. They became active. So the Georgetown Chamber of Commerce, the Tourism and Hospitality Association was born, the Guyana Manufacturing Association, all of the chambers of commerce in Berbice, in Upper Quarantine, Central Quarantine, in Linden, and the Essequibo Coast. All of these organizations started to be reborn because with the advent of private sector activity, private sector needed to be able to group themselves into lobbying groups to deal with some of the challenges that they face in their day-to-day businesses. And so back in 1992, as the private sector was really ramping up and all of these organizations were mushrooming in the particular subsectors, and they were electing their leaders were all, the presidents of those organizations were all operating separate and apart. There was no collaboration going on between them. And so today, the Minister of, for example, of Trade and Industry could be meeting tourism. Tomorrow he's meeting manufacturing on the same issues. So some senior wise men, businessmen, people like Yusuf Assad and Clifford Reese back in those days, came up with the concept that it would make sense to pull all of these elected private sector leaders into one room, where they could then deal with national cross-cutting issues. And that room became the Private Sector Commission. And so while in tourism, the Tourism Association would deal with issues of tourism and the Minister of Tourism, or in agriculture, they would deal with the Ministry of Agriculture. At the level of the Private Sector Commission is where they deal with national cross-cutting issues of national governance, national security, electric power, the ports, national security, elections, issues of governance. And this is where all of the private sector leaders sit down and deliberate on these issues as it affects the entire country, and particularly the private sector. And so the private sector have been exceptionally involved over the years in collaborating with government at the highest level to deal with these issues. And the private sector have really been involved since 1992. The Private Sector Commission was exceptionally involved in lending logistics support in however form and shape it was requested by the Elections Commission.
More of this interview with Captain Gavaya after the break. Stay tuned.
Roraima International Travel Agency is an approved IATA agency that caters for every traveler, including the backpackers to the luxury travelers. We try to accommodate your budget for each package, and of course, we make our customers very comfortable. Rest assured you will receive the best customer service, commitment, honesty, and trust from us as we access the world for you. Call us at telephone number 225-9648 or visit us at R8 King Avenue, Bel Park, Georgetown.
Captain Gavaya also explained how the electoral process works, given his and the PSC's involvement in working with the Ghana Elections Commission, GECOM, for several years.
Captain Gavaya, you outlined the involvement of the PSC, and you also touched on the system as you know it and how it functions within GECOM. How then can there be legitimate allegations of 200,000 perhaps dead people on that list, and that allegations that the number of electors on the list represents such a high percentage of the population that really it isn't a credible list?
It's actually a good question. But first of all, let me talk to you about the numbers of the people on our database, because we're not talking about the voters list, you're talking about the National Register of Registrants. If you have continuous registration, obviously you're dealing with a lot more efficient of a system, because now you're capturing all of the people that you could not have captured in house-to-house registration. Because when the house-to-house registration is over, if you're not at home, you're missed. And so the pilots, the loggers, the miners, intransient workers, Amerindians who don't normally be in one place all the time, and particularly people traveling on business, people traveling for school overseas, or even Guyanese living overseas. Remember, so long as you're a Guyanese, you have every legal right to hold a Guyanese ID card. And so the continuous cycles of registration are actually capturing, in a lot more efficient manner, a lot more Guyanese onto the National Register of Registrants. So it would not be unusual to have 650,000 people on the National Register of Registrants, because you're also dealing with 14-year-olds. And you're dealing with a lot of Guyanese living in the diaspora who would have come home for holidays and registered. Now, but to vote, it's a different matter. To vote, you have to be in Guyana. There's no residency requirement to vote. So long as you're here in Guyana, you're Guyanese and you hold a registration, an ID card, you're authorized to vote, and you're on the voters list, and you're on the National Register of Registrants. And so that, to me, would explain very clearly the issue of the size, the number of people on the list, because it's a lot more efficient. But I would say that whoever made the allegation that there are 200,000 people improperly inserted on the National Register of Registrants is very, very, very misinformed. It is just not physically possible. With all the checks and balances, GECOM was actually exceptionally efficient over the last couple of years. And Loingfield knows the system. He's an expert on these systems, and the whole check and balances systems of registering people, of getting onto that system. Like if you went into one of the registration booths, you have people from every political party sitting there, and GECOM. If you go there to register, everybody in the room have to accept the fact of who you are before they actually go through the process of registering you. And then you still take about 2 weeks before you actually get the ID card, while they go through the checks and balances of going to see where you're living and so on. And so the GECOM systems is so tight that it would prevent, and because it also is protected with your fingerprints, with your biometrics. So every person on the list is supported by their biometrics. There's no way you could have 200,000 people added to that list. But the allegations of dead people is a real one, in the sense that, but if that is the case, GECOM will need to explain, and the post office, why the monthly procedure of sending the list of deaths to GCOM. GCOM was not doing their work on cleaning the list. Now I could understand that maybe people who were registered and gone overseas and they died, maybe GCOM would not have known. But that to me would not be a significant number. But what is more significant about this, Wesley, is that dead people can't vote. And I cannot vote for you. And the reason is, if you understand how tight the GCOM polling station procedures are, when you appear to that polling station and say, my name is Wesley Curtin, and I'm here to vote, there are people from the PPP, AFC, PNC, there's observers, and everybody in front of them, there's a list with the names and your photograph next to that name. And so when you go and say, my name is Wesley Curtin, and you present yourself, everybody looks at the list, find your name and find your picture and associate it, and only then will they take you off. And only then, when everybody in the room agrees that you're Wesley Curtin, that the presiding officer would hand you a ballot paper. And so there's no way somebody could vote for somebody else. Not in our electoral system, not anymore. Can't happen. Now, I'm not saying that people can't attempt to overrun a polling station, for example, and raid out and leave only one party. But what happens is there's always GCOM staff in there. There are always observers in the booth. But if for some miracle you raid everybody out of the polling station, then maybe people could overrun the polling station, but that would be an exceptionally unusual and exceptional situation.
So you reject the argument that there could be 200?
Oh, no. It's absolutely impossible.
And that has brought us to the end of the first episode in the month of August 2019 for Inside Roraima. We hoped that you found this show very informative and that you will follow us on Facebook and on YouTube. You can also rewatch this show on YouTube. It's uploaded the next day, so you can head over to YouTube and watch this show again. Remember to search for Roraima Marketing on YouTube to find the episode. We want you to also be sure to book your tours for the Arrowpoint Nature Resort or Kaitro Falls. Remember to call us on 225-9648. That number again is 225-9648. Speak with Jillian, Alana, or one of our staff there at the Roraima Residence Inn. Until next time, on behalf of my cameraman Fabian Harding, my name is Colwyn Abrams, saying goodbye.
Arrowpoint Nature Resort, nestled in the Santa Mission Amerindian Reservation, is an ideal getaway for nature and adventure enthusiasts. You can stay overnight or just for the day and participate in a range of fun-filled activities. In the day, you can go mountain biking, kayaking, pedal boating, and bird watching. At night, relax and enjoy a bonfire dinner or take an expedition into the rainforest. The resort is also perfect for events such as company retreats, fun days, and weddings. Arrowpoint Nature Resort, the Back to Nature Resort.
Majestic and unique. Roraima Airways, we'll take you there.